Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a balsamic strawberry flatbread, and this comes together in about 20 minutes. It's really easy. It's a lightened up version of a flatbread where we're using strawberries in place of tomato. So we're going to start with our strawberries here. I'm just going to take the tops off and then I'm going to slice them. You need about 1.5 cups of sliced strawberries. And once you've got your strawberries sliced, you can kind of set them out of the way, and we'll come back to those later. And we can start on our dough for the flatbread. This is less like a pizza dough and more like a biscuit dough. And we're going to start with 1.25 cups of flour. And to my flour, I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm also going to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm also going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. And we're going to give this a quick stir. And to this, we're going to add 1 cup of Greek yogurt. Now this dough is kind of like a biscuit dough. It is going to be a very dry, shaggy kind of dough. It's not going to come together like a bread dough. You're going to have to really press it to make it stick together. But because this Greek yogurt is really the only fat that we're adding to the dough, this is a pretty light dish. And once it's kind of starting to come together, we're going to flour the surface of our countertop here. I'm going to turn the dough out onto it. It's still very crumbly. You definitely want to take your rings off for this part, so you don't want to have all of this flour and Greek yogurt in your setting of your ring. Just going to kind of press it together and turn it until it all comes together into one ball. And this can take a while. And so if you used the smaller yogurt cup, this is where you're really going to see that you don't have quite enough, and you might add some water here. Just a very little bit at a time, because adding water to pastry can make it tough. So you don't want to add too much. Now, I'm going to put my ball of dough on a cookie sheet that I have lined with parchment paper. Got a little bit more here on my spoon. And just use your fingers and press this out. We want it to be about 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick in a rectangular shape. And it's easy to get it to the correct thickness on the outside, and it'll still be a little too thick in the middle. So make sure that you're really working from the middle towards the outside so that it is all the same thickness all the way across. Now my dough's sticking to my fingers just a little bit, so I'm just going to get a little more flour on my hands. And just keep going. At this point, we're going to add a layer of mozzarella cheese, about 1/2 cup, just right on top of your dough here. Leave a little bit of a border around the edges so that you have something to hold on to when you're eating it, because this is a finger food. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of black pepper to the top of the cheese. And we'll start adding our strawberries. Just kind of spread them out evenly across the top of your flatbread. They don't have to all go the same direction. It doesn't really matter, just however it looks good to you. And if, like me, you've ended up slicing too many, just eat them. I think that's enough. And now to this, I'm going to add our final ingredient before baking. It's about 1/2 cup of feta cheese. I'm just going to sprinkle it across the top. Feta cheese really makes this dish pop, but you could also use blue cheese here. I think that would be really delicious, the combination of the salty blue cheese with the strawberries and the balsamic vinegar that we're going to put on at the end. So now I've got my flatbread ready to go in the oven, and I've got my oven preheated to 425 degrees, and it's going to go in for about 15 minutes. While your flatbread is in the oven, it's time to make your balsamic glaze. And we're just going to start with about 1 cup of balsamic vinegar. And we're going to boil this and let it reduce by half. So we're not going to put 1 cup of vinegar on the flatbread. We'll just put our cup of balsamic vinegar in the saucepan over medium to medium-high heat. You do want this to come to a boil, and it's going to boil for 7 to 10 minutes until it's reduced by half. If your family is home while you're doing this, you're going to get a lot of, what is that smell? As it boils, it's going to give a pretty strong smell. Don't be alarmed. But you also want to keep an eye on it. Once it has reduced too far, it's too far, and there's no saving it. And so you just want it to reduce till it's starting to thicken to about a syrup consistency so that we can drizzle it over that flatbread. And while it is boiling, I'm going to cut up our basil that's also going to go on the top of the flatbread. I'm going to do this in a chiffonade. It's little ribbons. It's very pretty and impressive, but not difficult to do at all. So take probably 5 pieces of basil, 5 of your leaves, and stack them on top of each other. And then you're just going to take it and roll it up into a tight little roll. And then take your knife, cut off the stem side, and discard that. You can eat the stem. It's fine. It's just not going to look as pretty on top of your flatbread, so I'm going to get rid of it. And then I'm going to slice across my roll very thinly, as thin as I can, and it'll come out with little tiny ribbons. And this is called a chiffonade. And then you've got these little ribbons of basil that can go on the top of the flatbread. The strawberry flatbread is out of the oven, and so I am ready to top it with this balsamic reduction that I made. I'm just going to take my spoon and carefully drizzle some of this over the top of the flatbread, kind of in a diagonal motion if you want it to look really pretty. And then I'm going to put my basil chiffonade on the top as well, just kind of evenly over the top, using my fingers to kind of spread those ribbons out. And cut this into little strips for serving. I like to do it in little triangles so that you end up with little wedges, almost like pizza wedges. This makes a quick and easy light lunch for you and a couple of other people, and just wait for the compliments.
We hope you enjoyed this video as part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on the OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.